Boom! Yes folks, Hume here again. So in this video, in our series on completing the square, we're continuing. However, we're gonna increase the difficulty a little bit now. So in all the videos so far, we dealt with x squared plus 6x, x squared minus 3x, x squared minus 19x, x squared plus 24x, etc., etc., etc. Right? So in all the expressions so far, the coefficient of x squared was 1 and it was positive. We're going to still keep it as 1, but we're going to change from positive to negative. So we know we're going to deal with situations where you have negative coefficient of x squared. The coefficient of x squared is minus 1. So we're going to go directly to some examples now, and we're saying that if we have minus x squared plus 6x plus 4, right? And they ask us to express this as, let us see, sometimes now in this case what they will do, because of how the thing is here, sometimes they will ask you to express it in the form k minus a into x plus h squared, which is the same thing as saying minus a into x plus h all to be squared plus k. So sometimes in the case where the coefficient is negative here, they will ask you to put it, they will ask for it in this form, and then they will ask for a, h, and k. So we could put it like that, or we could just leave it like that. Alright? So for the sake of consistency with my own videos, I will leave it as we had it before. Just note that as you do your past papers and as you do your exercises, as you do your questions, as you do all of that, just as always, pay attention to what they ask for in the question and give them that. At any rate, the most important part of this problem is the ability to manipulate the algebra and get from the standard form to the vertex form, a into x plus h all to be squared plus k. So we're maintaining our consistency where that is concerned. Alright? So this is what we're starting off with. We have minus x squared plus 6x plus 4. So the first thing we do, and this procedure will appear in this series of videos for the first time, but from here on in, it will feature very, very prominently. Alright, so I want to pay careful attention. So in other words, here, whatever the coefficient of x squared is, we divide in the entire expression by that. In other words, we factorize it now. This here is a slightly more technical application of your factorization. So your ability to factorize is also important in doing this particular topic. Alright? And if by any chance at this stage in the game your factorization is still a little weak, then you know that that is something you need to check up on, because it will hurt you in this particular topic going forward. Alright? So we factorize this entire expression here by taking out the minus 1 as the common factor. So we have minus 1, and look at what we do here. Minus 1 into, I'm just using the little document I have here. Right, so minus 1 into x squared minus 6x minus 4. Alright, we know that if we take the minus 1 on the outside, the signs of everything inside here will change. So the minus will go to plus, plus will go to minus, plus will go to minus. So now we have an expression that looks very much like what we are accustomed to working with so far. So in other words, by taking the minus 1 out, we reduce this to minus 1 on the outside, multiplied by an expression on the inside where the coefficient of x squared is positive. Now we could continue working as before, with the caveat, of course, that we have the minus sign on the outside. So we keep this sign on the outside, just looking in as long as we could, and then at the very end we reintegrate it into the solution to get the final answer. So the next line would be minus, and we introduce the square brackets now. Remember that x squared minus 6x is x minus 3 squared minus 3 squared, right? X squared minus 6x, x minus 3 squared, x minus 3 ought to be squared minus 3 squared, and that is still minus 4 inside there. Good. So we have the minus 1 on the outside still. This would be x minus 3 ought to be squared minus, well, 3 squared is 9, so that would be minus 9 minus 4. And then your next line here would be square brackets x minus 3 ought to be squared minus 13. Minus 9 minus 4 is minus 13. Remembering, of course, that we still have the minus sign on the outside here. Good. Now, again, you see at this point, the ability to interact, the ability to deal with the minus signs comes into play. Because if you get the wrong thing moving from here to here, you have problems. So some people will take this and they'll get 5, or they'll get minus 5. Some people might do this and actually get plus 13, because they tell themselves a minus and a minus is a plus, right? A minus interacting with another minus sign is a plus if you're multiplying. But that is another topic for another video. We're not discussing that here. So you have to be very careful with your regular algebra where the signs are concerned. So the next line here would be, now you could take the minus sign and multiply it back by everything inside the square brackets. So it will be minus into x minus 3 all to be squared, and then this minus multiplied by the minus 13 there will give you plus 13, and that is the final answer. So if you had to give it values for the expressions of the constants here, in this form, you will get a equal minus 1, h equal minus 3, and k is equal to plus 13. And that basically is it, you know, right? Now, again, we're going to take the extra step of working this backwards to make sure we get the answer on top here. Again, just for the record, remembering, of course, that this step is not absolutely necessary. We're just going a little extra here just to provide some level of confirmation in terms of people's natural curiosity about this topic. Alright, so we're going to erase the board as before. We're starting with our good friend there. So in other words, if I were to start out from the outset with minus x minus 3 squared plus 13, and I evaluate this, would I get back this at the start here? Let me do it and see. Let me do it and see. So the first thing we do is deal with this fella here. So the minus sign is still on the outside. X minus 3 all to be squared would be x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus 13. And then we multiply everything in here by minus 1. So that will give you minus x squared. Minus 1 by minus 6x is plus 6x. Minus 1 by plus 9 is minus 9. Right, we do that here, and then we plus 13. And then guess what? We get minus x squared plus 6x minus 9 plus 13 is, guess what? Plus 4. Alright, again, you see your ability to interact with minus signs there. And that's it. So we took the answer and we work backwards and we get the original solution. So you're seeing the topic come into life in a slow, meticulous and method, forget that word, in a slow and meticulous way, right? So take your time with it. This is not a topic to hurry down. This is not a topic to hurry down. And we're not just throwing formula at people here. We're taking our time and we're going through the proper procedure. Alright, so that's it. So we're going to continue in this little phase here where we're dealing with coefficients of x squared, which are equal to minus 1. So look out for the very next video in this little phase of the series on completing the square. Boom!